It is July 2nd, 2021. I'm Andrew James at the Montgomery County DA's office out here at the Lake Conroe Precinct 1 office with Constable Cash at Precinct 1. And we're again, as we have, from Memorial Day weekend a couple weeks ago, we are here wanting to just talk about the dangers of drunk driving, drunk boating, drug driving, drug boating, water safety. It is the Independence Day weekend coming up here, and we're wanting to get the message back out to the community about being safe out on our roadways and here on Lake Conroe. So we'll let Constable Cash talk.
This historically is one of the busiest weekends we have on the lake. Today it starts this afternoon. It'll go through Monday evening. Holiday falls on the weekend this year. What we're pushing is be sensible and be safe when you're on the water. Wear a life jacket. If you're going to drink on a boat, have a designated captain that's sober and understands how the boat operates. We're also doing safety checks at all our public marinas. These are voluntary, but we will go through your boat with you before you launch. Make sure you have all the required safety equipment on the boat for kids, for adults. Be sensible, be safe. We're trying to make this an enjoyable weekend, a great time on the lake. We're going to have scattered showers. It's going to be a nice hot weekend, but be safe on the lake. If you're going to drink, get a designated captain. We will be working with our law enforcement partners, with the state game wardens and our district attorney's office and our other agencies around the lake enforcing DWI and BWI laws. This is a busy weekend and we want this lake to be safe for everyone. We appreciate you doing the right thing, be sensible and be safe.
Cash, last couple of drownings had no life vests on the boat, but not on them when they're in the water.
Right, if you're going to get in the water or around the water, especially with children, have a life jacket, have one on. If you're going to get out and swim in the water, have a life jacket on or a flotation device in the water with you. If the wind's blowing and you jump in the water, and the boat will drift faster than you can swim, and sadly that's what happens on a lot of these drownings. But they're not familiar with the lake. This lake can get deep, up to 70 foot deep. So keep that in mind. If you're going to jump in the water to cool off, put a life jacket on. It only takes a minute, less than a minute. It'll save your life.
But we get some weather moving in this weekend. Watching for this weather on the lake. A lot of them don't pay any attention. You get a lot of these rescues with the boats stranded, winds blowing away from the boats, away from shore, away from them even. Well,
the watercraft on the water, you have lightning issues. If you see bad weather, if you can't make it back to your point of departure, find a marina and tie up and get out of the boat and let the weather blow through. Keep your eyes on it. If you have a phone, look up the weather forecast. Keep up with it all day because it changes. It's a beautiful day right now. We may have severe thunderstorms this afternoon. We're out here with the state game wardens and our fire departments and other first responders to respond to emergencies on the lake. But don't be that emergency. Be sensible. Look up the weather. Make sure you wear a life jacket.
Constable Cash, are these safety checks mandatory or are they just recommended?
On the water, yes. On shore, no. It's voluntary. We have a form that we give them. It explains the BWI, DWI laws for the lake. It also has a map of the lake and all the marinas. It's the ones that have fuel also. And it also, on the front, it shows what if they were in violation before they got on water, so they can fix the problem before they get to the water.
What kind of dangers does being on the water add to being intoxicated or under the influence while on the water?
It's the same as in a car, distracted driving, and not all is alcohol. They could be on an illegal substance or illegal substance and took too much of it. But distracted driving, most of the accidents we have involve illegal substance. Not all, but most.
Jessica, I can jump in on that too. The legal standard for intoxication for operating a watercraft is the same as for a motor vehicle. So if you don't have the normal use of your mental faculties because of whatever you've ingested, or you don't have the normal use of your physical faculties, or if you have an alcohol concentration of 0.08 or more, you are legally intoxicated and you are committing a crime by operating that watercraft. An additional factor that comes into play if we're dealing with some sort of crash on the waterway that you don't typically have on a roadway is all of this water and the ability that someone can drown. So it's another reason why people need to be safe and need to be responsible when they're operating a watercraft. We're going to be doing no refusal all weekend. We're going to have multiple locations going, including folks here during the day on Saturday and Sunday and into the evening at the Precinct 1 office here on 105 in the dam, so that if folks are getting arrested or operating or driving drunk or driving drugged, officers can come right here off of 105 and we can help prepare a blood warrant if somebody refuses, and for impaired, intoxicated, drunk, and drugged boaters. We'll be right here, and if they refuse to consent to a specimen, we're going to seek a search warrant to take their blood. So, as Constable Cash has said, what we want folks to enjoy this weekend. It's Independence Day weekend. Have fun, enjoy it, but do so safely. Don't put yourself in danger. Don't put your family in danger. Don't put other people in danger. If you're going around here on the lake at night, you need to be conscious for other boats and all the ambient light that comes around too. You need to be going slow so that you can see everything, so you don't crash into the 1097 bridge and things like that. There's all these various factors that folks need to be aware of, and if you don't have your normal mental faculties or your normal physical faculties because of what you've been drinking or taking, you're just taking a risk that no one needs to take. We want folks to enjoy this weekend and celebrate this weekend. We don't want this weekend to become a tragedy for any family.
Can y'all talk about how many people you're going to actually have as far as deputies and game wardens on the lake over the weekend?
Well, in our office, everyone, including myself and the administration, all the way down from our mental health divisions, from our civil divisions, they all come out and help on the lake on these holiday weekends. It's a big issue we have. We want to make this lake safe. The Texas Parks and Wildlife, this is a lake that they come out and force. We don't know the exact numbers, but they'll be here in force like they are every other.
And you're also going to have like MCHD.
Yeah, we have the hospital district. We have EMTs on the boat.
Okay.
We also have EMTs in our department that respond also. The fire departments around the lake have been a tremendous access for us with these boat crashes and drownings and other issues we have. We can't be on every square inch of the lake. It's a big lake, but we do patrol a lot and we do take calls. So if you see something bad happen on the lake, dial 911.
What kind of rate do y'all have? How many BWIs do y'all see in an average weekend, and how do you expect that to increase over the holiday weekend?
Historically, 4th of July is our biggest weekend for BWIs. There's a lot of celebration that goes on this holiday, but it varies. We've been pushing this program now for 5 years, and we've seen decreases on DWIs on occasion because we're finding more and more designated captains, which makes us feel like the message we're giving out is working. We are seeing more and more people in compliance with the laws on the lake, but there's always those that don't study the law or don't look it up and check to see what the rules are. They're out here on vacation, they're having a good time, they overindulge in alcohol or illegal substances, and then they get on the water, and unfortunately sometimes they run into us, but it's better to run into us than run into another boat.
Cash, what about a lot of these juveniles lately? A couple incidents with juveniles on jet skis by themselves out running around, running into things, ignoring no wake zones.
Right, we address that. Our citations and traffic stops on the lake are going through the roof. It's been like this now since spring break during COVID. The lake has been busy year-round, but we do enforce that, and we get a lot of calls from property owners and other boaters on the lake when they see issues like you're talking about. So we do enforce it. We do write citations for it. It takes away from your good time if you get a ticket for violating a safety law on the lake. So keep that in mind.
It's been a rainy season, and some days it's light rain. Could you kind of talk about some of the complications that may come with that and how boaters should be a little more mindful?
Well, when we have these thunderstorms, you go from a flat lake like we have now to 2 and 3 foot waves instantly. I mean, it happens. Smaller boats, they swamp, they flip, high winds. There's a lot of issues with that. So that, like I said, look at your weather. If you see some bad clouds, look at your phone. Get a weather update, which way it's blowing, and if you can't make it from the north end to the south end, find a marina somewhere, pull in and let the storm pass. They usually pass within an hour or so. When they come through, we have high winds. The lake can go 3 to 5 feet sometimes, just depending on what kind of thunderstorm we're in.
Even with some light rain, you'd recommend somebody turn on like their lights, right?
Yeah, any low visibility.
You were driving, right?
You're running lights, any low visibility. If you come out here, the bass fishermen leave early in the morning. They have their lights on right before the sun comes up. Same way in the evening. We'll see a lot of boats out at the fireworks displays. They can come out on the lake and watch them. But when those are over, a lot of times they go 90 directions at 100 miles an hour. So be cautious. If you do go out to those you probably want to stay where you're at with your lights on until the other boats leave.
Yeah, take it slow.
That's
Jessica, just-
JRA and motor safety courses that you're doing for the jet skis.
Yeah, the Precinct 1 Constable's office has been providing free training here at the River Authority with the San Jacinto River Authority about once a month now. We're putting on free classes. You still have to pay for your fee with the state, but we provide one of our deputies that work for the lake is an instructor and teaches that, and also some of the other rules on the lake and some other safety hazards. It's a really good class. It's required. I think it's 1993, or if you're born from that year on, you have to have that driving ability to operate on the lake or any waterway in the state of Texas.
Jessica, can I jump in with one thing? You asked about BWI arrest numbers earlier. I pulled the numbers for 2019 and 2020. There were only 4 BWI arrests in 2019 over the July 4th holiday weekend. Only 3 last year. That's compared to about 70 DWI arrests in that same time frame in 2019, and about 45 DWI arrests last July 4th Independence Day holiday weekend. One thing that, to echo what Constable Cash was saying earlier is, and we've seen this, and hopefully it's going to happen again this year, we have seen people being responsible on Lake Conroe and getting the message and understanding that, you know, of the dangers and what we're doing as law enforcement to try to reduce that. And we've been seeing folks being responsible out there, having a designated skipper, you know, staying sober while they're operating a boat, and we just want to continue to see that. The ideal holiday weekend is going to be 0 folks being arrested for BWI, because they're just being safe, they're being smart, they're being responsible. There's going to be a lot of officers out. The water safety check that you mentioned earlier, that's different than a traffic stop. They don't have to have a reason to pull you over other than doing a water safety check. So your boat can be stopped simply for that reason. And so folks need to just...
It's really choppy, especially with a lot of traffic. But they're really quick. They'll ask you for your life jackets, they'll ask you for your registration card, make sure your horn, or you have a sound device. You have life jackets for everyone, appropriate life jackets for kids and adults on the boat. They'll also look for your throwable you have to have by law. So little things like that, your kill switch, you know, it may just take 5 minutes, you're done. And they just do a check, and if everything's in order and you're not intoxicated operating your boat, have a nice day. That's what it's all about, trying to make this lake safe. With that, you know, putting on a life jacket, you will save a life, and maybe your life that's saved. You know, when you jump in the water, just take a second. Even the rental places on the lake, they can have an overabundance of life jackets on the boats. Learn where they're at, keep them handy, don't put them in a box, throw them out on the seats, where you can snap it on and jump in the water, cool off, and then come back in the boat. It'll save a life.
Any other questions or anything else? Well, thank you guys very much.